Hello, my name is Christina, and on this channel we talk about MS and not only, I hope. Hello, my name is Christina, and today we're going to talk about traveling with multiple sclerosis. I have had aggressive multiple sclerosis for 17 years already, and as you can guess, if it's aggressive, it means that a lot of things are difficult for me, including traveling. And if you are newly diagnosed and you also have difficulties and you are concerned and anxious about traveling and you don't know if you will be able to travel, well, I hope you will find this video useful. So I think out of these 17 years with MS, I've been traveling for about 14 years. And if you know how it works and what to do, where to go, and how to organize everything, you will still be able to travel. So let's start. Well, when I first traveled, I had to Google everything, and I think I didn't know a lot of things. And one of my friends said, you can just call the airport. It was about 14 years ago, so everything was not as online as it is now. So somebody told me just call the airport and ask them like what you can do if you find it difficult to walk. Airports can be big, so even if you walk, even if you can walk short distance, like inside the airport, distances can be long. So it's important to consider, and it's always important to find some way to help yourself. I called the airport, they said yes, you just have to request the assistance with the airline and they will let us know. So that's what I did. I wrote an email to the airline and I requested the assistance. It was my first experience. I didn't know what to do. They told me you just come to the airport, you find this room like medical assistance room or something else, and like we will have you from there. So that was my first experience. So when I came there, they like provided me with a wheelchair and with a person. So I was the first one to go through check-in, control, everything else. Bob was the first on the gate. So that's how it was back then. Now, when you book your tickets online, you can always choose this option, like you require assistance, and they have a list of possible problems you have. So you tick the necessary button, but that's how it usually works. Either you come to the airport and there will be a special telephone, which you just you pick up the receiver and it starts automatically calling and they find you and pick you up from there, or you do it at the check-in if you can walk to the check-in. The only disadvantage of doing it at the check-in, you might need to wait in a queue, right? However, if you receive assistance before that, you will be the first. You don't have to queue because you're already with the assistance, you're with the wheelchair, so you shouldn't be afraid of it. So don't forget, when you book your airplane tickets, there will be this option, a passenger requires assistance. If you do not do it, let's say you forgot about it or somebody was doing it for you, I don't know, it was your first time buying plane tickets and you were afraid to make a mistake, you can always call the airline and do it over the phone. You just need your booking number, your name, date of flight. So you have to do it with the airline rather than with the airports. Remember, depending on the airline, it's usually 24 to 48 hours. You have to do it in advance. So not, however, I had situations when I bought tickets last minute and I called the airline 10 hours before the flight and everything was still organized. However, if the airport is busy, people who provide assistance can also be busy. So that's like, you might need to wait a little longer in these situations, but in most of the cases, you will be provided assistance. Moreover, I have examples when I didn't request assistance. Let's say 90% of the time, I'm alone on the plane. So I usually fly alone, right? But there have been a couple of rare occasions when I was flying with my partner and I am visibly disabled, to be honest. I'm using a cane, but you can see I still struggle even when I use a cane. And I didn't request assistance, but however, at the check-in, I was offered, check-in officer said, okay, just wait here, we will call the assistance for you, do not struggle, you don't need these problems. I mean, I didn't request it, but the airport staff organized it for me. So, I mean, if you think you have enough energy to do it yourself, uh, and you do not request assistance, but then you arrive at the airport and you realize that it might not be a good day for you, do not worry. It's highly likely that you will still be provided assistance if you require that. So I don't think you will be just left alone. Somebody is going to help you. If, for example, you don't know where these phones are located, which you can call from the airport for the assistance, you can come to somebody at the airport, some staff. It's better to find your check-in desk, because at the check-in they will probably do it for you without any problems, even if you didn't request it. So that's how it is, so do not worry. Now also there is another part. Sometimes you travel by planes, sometimes you travel by trains. Trains and train companies, they also have these services. So if you do need help, you just also book it when you buy your ticket over the phone with the train. So again, they might meet you at the train station and wheel you around the station. You'll be the first. They will help you to board. They will to board on the train. They will help you to get off. Sometimes they can at the train stations even wait with you for a taxi if you're traveling alone. And let's say you need to get a taxi. I don't see it happening at the airports. However, sometimes at the airports they offer to wheel you right to the car at the parking lot. If a person, like somebody is meeting you, but their car is quite far away. So they are usually okay. They offer this, so do not be afraid that at some point of your journey you will be left alone. Both train stations and airports have these services. Sometimes there can be some mishaps, and I have had them at huge airports like the Istanbul airport. Let's say I had a moment when they just, I think, forgot about me, and they told me to wait somewhere, and yeah, and I think they forgot to pick me up. But again, I went to the check-in desk. Like, I didn't wait in the queue. I just tried to pay the officer's attention to me, so he told me to come up, because it was obvious that it was difficult. I said this and that, I was supposed to wait here, but I think they forgot about me, so they called it for me, because again, I could not walk very far to find these telephone booths to get the assistance. So they called me, they told me, okay, we called them, we explained where you are, do not worry. They checked me without gear, so it went from there. Because if you are at the airport, let's say, which is not in Europe, it is likely that just staff at the airport might not speak English. However, check-in staff will probably speak English. So that's why I would recommend you come up to the check-in staff rather than a person at the airport if you need help, just because you are more likely to find an English-speaking person. Let's see if it's a connecting flight. Sometimes connecting flights can be through different countries. Like, for example, in my case, it was Turkey, and not everybody at the Turkish airport could speak English. It's fine, it's nothing bad about it, just like a little advice. So do not be afraid to travel. And I mean, this part of traveling, like using trains and airports, there is always assistance. Even if you forgot to request it, it is there for you. I think I already used assistance with the Turkish Airlines, Azerbaijani Airlines, EasyJet, Jet Air, not Jet Air, Wizz Air, well, British Airways and many other airline companies. So it's not a problem to get assistance, whether you travel by train or plane, or you travel both of them. For example, some of my journeys include train, plane, connection, plane. Like last time I was traveling, it took me 30 hours with all these kinds of transport. So you will get assistance, do not worry. Another very important thing for me to have when I travel is to have a really big power bank. Let's say, yes, there are charging stations at airports and train stations, but if you cannot walk to them, how are you going to charge your devices? So that's why I travel with a huge power bank, which can charge my phone like 3 or 4 times maybe. And like sometimes I even can charge my phone from my, it's not laptop, but sometimes I had to charge it from a laptop. So a big power bank, very important. Some snacks, if you think you do not have energy to go to a cafe or to a restaurant at the airport, let's say you have a connection, and I mostly travel with connections. So, and let's say I don't feel this in me to reach the restaurant or something, so I have snacks and a big power bank. These are two very important things I always have on me. Because if your journey is long, if it's only one flight without any connections and without trains, I don't even think it's a problem. So somebody will help you to board the plane, and there will be people meeting you when you get off the plane. So do not worry, they will help you to get on and to get off the plane. So no problem. So yeah, so assistance is there for you. Do not worry about it. Now, when we travel somewhere. So when I travel, to a new destination I've never been to, I check taxi services, taxi applications, how much taxes can be from here to there, because I cannot use public transport. It is the sad truth. I also cannot drive because my eyesight is not great due to MS. Even in contact lenses or glasses, I still do not see 100%, so I cannot drive and I cannot use public transport. So taxis are my best friends. So yeah, so I also check taxi services. So it's not as bad. It's a holiday. On a holiday, you can afford a little bit more than in a regular life, right? And we only live life once, and honestly, I don't know how long. So yeah, that's just like when you just realize that your mass might be a bit too aggressive. It is scary, but humans are designed to get used to everything and to adapt to everything. Yes, there are restrictions. Of course, there are lots of things I cannot do, but it applies to everyone on this planet. Nobody can do everything they want. We all have our own problems, and they're just like problems of a different kind. Of course, we always see our problems as the biggest ones, but just try not to deprive yourself of things which you still can do. Because with every year I feel worse, and sometimes I regret that I didn't do something in the past. So if you want to travel now but you're afraid, just try. In the worst case scenario, you can just come back. But if you travel solo, make sure that you know somebody in the city or country where you're traveling to. I'd say it's very important. If you're not traveling solo, it's alright. I hope you're traveling with people who you can trust and who you can rely on. So yeah, so these are my tips or something about traveling with a mask. If you were not sure how it works, or if you were afraid, everything works. Don't be afraid. Planes and trains are fine to travel, even if you have severe walking problems. And so yes, somebody will help you. So enjoy your life. Life is too short to be upset, okay?